CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Connor Hogg.
Good evening. A family in central Alberta is picking up the pieces after a tornado tore through their property, damaging and destroying several buildings. The cleanup is expected to take weeks, if not months. CTV's Amanda Anderson reports from Rocky Mountain House.
Just all of a sudden you could hear a whirring sound, and then bang. And that's when we just ran for the basement, went and hid. And about 30 seconds later, it was over.
30 seconds, and this is the destruction Bryn Hansen and his grandmother looked outside to see.
It was crazy. I didn't know how to react even.
They weren't hurt, but couldn't go outside initially because a power pole had fallen right outside the house. 4 vehicles and several buildings were damaged, some beyond repair. Their shop, which once stood in this spot, was ripped clear off its foundation.
We're just thankful it didn't hit the house, really. We still have somewhere to live.
On the street leading to their family farm, crews are working to clear down trees.
Amazing how much power a tornado has, and how lucky the town is that it only hit a very small segment of our town. If it was, 200 meters west, we would have been in a lot different situation.
Several people captured video of the tornado. Millie Toledo was at work when it hit.
It was really scary for me just to see it through my own eyes.
The Northern Tornadoes Project says this is the worst tornado season in about a decade.
From 2017 onwards, we have never had more than 23 tornadoes in Alberta until this year, and we have 26 this year, and it's July. There's still around a month of peak tornado season.
Cleanup alone on the Hansen farm is expected to take a few weeks, even with dozens of family and community members here helping. But since Hansen's grandparents didn't have insurance, they're hoping to raise money to rebuild and make repairs through a GoFundMe.
The community's been a lot of help. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's been hard times, so happy to have all the help.
The Northern Tornadoes Project still has a team on the ground surveying damage. They're looking at an area from southwest of Rocky Mountain House to north of Codner, which is about 10 minutes from here. They expect to release more information about the tornado's path, its width, and rating on Tuesday. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Rocky Mountain House.
This summer's record-breaking rain is making its mark on city infrastructure with erosion, flooding, and bridge closures. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti has more on the toll the weather is taking on the city of Edmonton.
This isn't a paddling adventure Raft Henderenda planned this summer.
It's pretty surreal. I didn't think I would ever kayak on a road, but there is no more road. It's now a creek.
6 weeks ago, Horseshoe Creek and 137th Avenue looked like this. Now the road has further eroded with more water flowing through. EPCOR says it's working to pump out all that water.
It looks like they're doing lots, but really they're not moving a lot of water, and it shows because the water level is not going down.
It's just some of the further damage caused by this weekend's rainstorm, from downed trees to flooded roads. That rain created a pond in the Yellowhead underpass on 82nd Street, leaving people and cars stranded. The city also closed the high-level bridge west sidewalk due to a slope failure. One engineer says the damage can create a domino effect.
One failure could impact. When the power goes, maybe the pump doesn't work. It's just that there is interconnectivity between these infrastructure.
Bayet says it's not about construction quality.
Start, for example, for road infrastructure, water is #1 enemy.
And it's an enemy that's hitting Edmonton hard.
What we are talking is not about the failure. What we are talking about road strength. If we are basically putting more than what we designed it for, it's going to impact the infrastructure.
EPCOR says it's trying to temporarily solve the water issues at Horseshoe Creek while working on a long-term solution. Meanwhile, the city says it won't know the full-term effects of all the flooding until full engineering assessments are done. It says most regular operations have resumed on roads. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
Some people are looking for refunds after Saturday night's storm put a stop to multiple outdoor events in Edmonton. The Great Outdoors Comedy Festival stopped its show right before the headliner, Matt Rife, was supposed to take the stage. People with single-night tickets were offered complimentary passes to performances on Sunday. Meanwhile, people at the Neon Skies Festival in Ice District also had to evacuate before headliner Kesha could perform. One woman says she reached out to the festival looking for complimentary compensation and has not heard back.
We are guests. We are customers. We're here because we are the people who make Neon Skies what it is. Without customers, without guests, there is no Neon Skies.
The event's website says Neon Skies runs rain or shine, and there's no posted policy regarding cancellations. The city of Edmonton is activating its emergency response for poor air quality. Smoke from wildfires in the Northwest Territories is moving into Alberta. The city says the air quality health index is expected to be 7 or higher for a few days. The city will open public facilities and make water and N95 masks available for anyone who needs them. The city of St. Albert is starting to scale back its flood response as water levels recede. The city is removing barriers installed along flooded trails near the Sturgeon River. The Kingswood boat dock is also now open. The city says it's shifting from flood mitigation to recovery. It also says it needs time to evaluate the damage before restoration can begin.
We'll have to wait till the river levels recede a bit more before we can fully assess. But we are seeing things like we've seen some small sinkholes. We're watching some of the trees because some of the trees have they might have a bit of a lean to them. Some of the street lights along the trails. We expect there might be some cracking in some of the trails as well. So.
While the city doesn't expect the damage to be too serious, it says people still need to be cautious in and around the river and on trails. RCMP say a CFL player originally from Leduc was driving on the wrong side of the road leading up to a deadly crash. 30-year-old Jaden Dulkey was the captain of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. RCMP say the silver SUV Dulkey was driving slammed into a black SUV on Saturday night near Lumsden, Saskatchewan. The other driver was also killed. Police say alcohol and cannabis were found in Dulkey's vehicle. RCMP also say they got a call from a Lumsden business about 30 minutes before the crash about a gas and dash involving a silver SUV. A woman who says she was sexually assaulted by a chiropractor in our city is hoping to encourage more possible victims to come forward. At the time of the alleged assault, the woman was in law school studying how the justice system can better support victims of these types of crimes. The chiropractor denies the allegations and is scheduled to challenge them in court next year. But first, he faces a series of professional hearings, with one beginning tomorrow. CTV's Jeremy Thompson reports, and a warning for viewers, this story includes descriptions of sexual assault.
The sign is still up for Bradley Basaraba's clinic on Jasper Avenue, but chiropractic appointments are on hiatus, the clinic up for sale, while Basaraba's license is suspended.
He was really attentive to me and made me feel believed and like he could do something about my condition.
Olive Bensler went to Basaraba in 2024 for help with her long COVID symptoms. She says the first couple of weeks of appointments went well.
He got to know that I was a law student, that I was actively researching sexual assault law, that I was coming from a prosecution job headed into another criminal law position.
But one day in April, Bensler says Basaraba crossed the line from professional to personal, making her uncomfortable as the appointment went on.
He did some minor assessments while I was lying on my back, and then he told me to lie on my stomach. And he said, I'm going to adjust your hip. He placed his hand right at the top of my inner thigh, right at my vagina, basically, and put his thumb under my butt and did an adjustment.
Bensler acknowledges on the spectrum of what constitutes sexual assault by the letter of the law, her alleged experience may seem minor, but she says Basaraba's actions were unprofessional and inappropriate.
He did not ask me to touch me in that way. He did not explain why he was going to do that. I absolutely did not consent to it.
The College of Chiropractors of Alberta temporarily suspended Basaraba's license in the wake of Bensler's allegations. In the 2 years since the alleged assault, police have heard from 13 other women who claim Basaraba touched them inappropriately too. He's scheduled to face 11 counts of sexual assault at a trial in February, and there are parallel professional regulatory hearings happening this month with Basaraba's license to practice on the line. Inspired by her own research into sexual assault law, Bensler requested her name not be withheld during the hearing on July 21st.
I saw this as an opportunity to show people that they're ashamed to carry when they experience sexual assaults.
Reports that 2 other women submitted to the college allege Basaraba lifted up the patient's shirt and/or undid her bra during a spinal exam in January 2024. Another from June 2022 alleges Basaraba touched the patient's pubic bone and/or vagina while treating a leg condition.
It's Dr. Basaraba's position that inappropriate touching did not happen. Some touching did, but it was part of a clinically recognized procedure.
Basaraba's lawyer says the allegations have caused his client emotional, financial, and reputational damage. He denies all of them. And when it comes to Benzler's claim specifically,
he did not do it. He was charged criminally for the same event, and that has been stayed, so it's no longer active.
The Alberta Crown Prosecution Service confirms the prosecutor determined the criminal charge could not proceed. Benzler says a stay is not the same as an acquittal and hopes that going through the professional hearing process publicly will encourage more women to come forward.
It is never too late on charges like these to speak to authorities, and I think the more people we have involved in this process, the stronger the case is, and the more likely we get a positive outcome that protects the public.
The College of Chiropractors has not made a decision on the professional misconduct allegations in front of it, and none of the criminal charges have been tested in court. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he's hitting Canada with a new 50% tariff on a wide range of goods. It comes on the same day as a visit by the U.S. ambassador to Canada. He, as well as Alberta's premier, spoke to an Edmonton crowd at the Pacific Northwest Economic Region Annual Summit.
I think it would be helpful if we had, 400 people leave here, both sides of the border, talking about how important this trade relationship is.
U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra spoke about mutually beneficial industries for Canada and the U.S., such as energy and critical minerals, also naming aluminum, steel, and the automotive sector, all of which the Trump administration has already applied tariffs to. Hoekstra also says Alberta stands to benefit from big tech investment after its deal with Meta for a data center in Sturgeon County. Premier Danielle Smith was there as well. She was asked about the fall's upcoming referendum and investors' reaction to potential uncertainty surrounding it.
There's a certain segment of our Alberta population that want to file the divorce papers, and I want to go into couples counseling, so we're in that couples counseling mode right now, and I'm confident it'll work out as long as we can work through the issues one by one.
These conversations happened before Trump's newest round of tariffs, covering products from wine to hockey sticks and cement. The tariffs apply whether or not a good is covered under the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement and will take effect in 30 days. An Alberta mother wants to see changes to the province's emergency alert system after an Amber Alert case in Calgary. Jen Ball has a nonverbal autistic son. She says vulnerable children who go missing should trigger a faster public alert even when there is no evidence of abduction. In the recent disappearance in Calgary, it took more than 48 hours before an alert was issued. Ball has started a petition calling for expanded criteria or a separate alert system for vulnerable children.
It's honestly heartbreaking to think about them going missing, and I think that they're not being an Amber Alert right away. I think, and maybe I speak for the rest of the city and the world, I didn't truly understand what an Amber Alert was. I truly thought that it was a missing child, point blank, period. I didn't realize that there was such a gap in the system in that it's only for child abductions.
The Missing Children's Society of Canada says there is an alternative alert system. The Child Search Network sends targeted text alerts in high-risk cases, but users must opt in, unlike automatic Amber Alerts. Coming up next, a dairy company apologizes for the sudden shortage of some milk products on store shelves in Edmonton. And also just ahead, meet the 2 new co-commanding officers of the Alberta RCMP, taking a break from their fight against cancer to take on crime instead.
It's just really awesome because, not many people get to do this, and, this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Well, the cloud did break up today. You just couldn't tell. We had a lot of smoke in the region. Still a little bit of smoke for tomorrow, but it should be a little bit clearer than today. So an improvement as far as air quality and as far as temperature, we're going to see a climb. I've got those details, your 5-day forecast coming up.
A dairy company is apologizing for a milk shortage in Edmonton. Saputo, the company behind Dairyland Milk, says it recently experienced an electrical issue at its production facility in Edmonton. The company says the issue has been fixed and it's working to get its milk back on store shelves. It expects everything will return to normal by the end of this week. Some stores are limiting how much milk customers can buy. Saputo apologized for the inconvenience and says it appreciates the patience of its customers. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is appointing a referendum lead for Alberta. In an open letter, Poilievre is instructing Conservative caucus member Dane Lloyd to listen to Albertans and address their concerns. Last month, Prime Minister Mark Carney appointed Morgan Breitkreutz as the government's advisor on separation issues. You can now apply to vote by mail in October's referendum. Elections Alberta says all eligible voters can apply for a special ballot so they can submit their vote by mail. The chief electoral officer says this may give people more time to review the referendum questions or if someone is going to be away on the voting days. Once you apply, a special ballot package will be mailed to the address provided. It also includes a prepaid return envelope. Completed ballots must be returned by mail and received by October 16th. Returning offices will not accept ballots. Full rules and applications can be found on the Elections Alberta website. From running robots to flying in helicopters, 2 girls are learning what it's like to be a Mountie. The pair of co-commanding officers are both fighting crime and cancer. As CTV's Noah Rashog found more on the partnership between the RCMP and the Kids with Cancer Society.
10-year-old Maya Ferguson and 11-year-old Haley Nedeluck are getting an experience they'll never forget. Both girls are diagnosed with cancer. The Kids with Cancer Society is working with the RCMP and Edmonton International Airport to give the girls the full RCMP experience.
It's just really awesome because not many people get to do this, and this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We play a very, very small role, but it's whatever that we possibly can do. It's an absolute honor for us to be a part of this, and just maybe for 2 days they get to feel something different than they've seen in the past.
Deputy Commissioner Daru gets the rest of the day off. For today and tomorrow, the girls will replace him as co-commanding officers of the RCMP in Alberta.
You know, we were talking earlier, they were thinking maybe longer lunch breaks for everybody, a shorter day, I don't know. Or maybe they're going to make the work harder. But, it's just a great opportunity, and we're so happy to be part of it.
Their first order, a helicopter ride around the airport.
You guys ready?
At first I was a bit nervous of taking off, but then once I got up, it was beautiful and very nice.
The co-CEOs were given a hero's goodbye as they boarded the plane to Regina. They're headed to the RCMP's training center depot for the graduates' dinner with the newest Mounties.
And we get to wear the red serges, and we're like the guests of honor.
Noah Rashog, CTV News, Edmonton.
Players are hoping to score a world record for the longest soccer game at K-Days over the next few days. The Edmonton Expo Centre event is aiming to raise money for Alberta Dreams. That charity grants dreams to children with severe, chronic, or life-threatening illnesses. Last year, organizer Chris Sheets stayed on a Ferris wheel for 54 hours, raising more than 70 grand. He says he's hoping for a repeat this year. The world record for longest soccer game is 60 hours. This one will last 72. Sheets says there will be players of all skill levels, as well as some familiar faces.
We've got Gene Principe, of course, great Italian soccer player. We've got Janice Irwin. We've got Jelena Marjanovic, the boxer. From Price is Right, a local celebrity, Ashley Collingbull. We've got some pros, as I can see behind me. And then we've got a lot of novices and old men like me that'll be playing.
Coming up after the break, athletes take to Horlack Park for the World Triathlon Championship, with both Olympic hopefuls and everyday Edmontonians taking part.
There's 6 races in one. There's a lot of mental preparation.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Well, as far as today, we did see some showers in the morning. As we go throughout the late evening and overnight period, chance of more showers in and around the region. As far as warming today, it really was limited. Average seasonal high is 24. We only made it up to 21. Big part of that was the smoke. We did start to see the cloud break and clear. You just couldn't tell because there was so much smoke in the region. Good thing is we'll see a slight improvement for tomorrow. 10 plus, that's what we maxed out at today. So it was extreme, the air quality, very, very poor. As we take a look at tomorrow, we should see an improvement. Still a moderate health risk. Areas to the south will see a little bit more smoke, but our flow will become a little bit more southerly. So we should see some of that smoke pushed back. But Cold Lake, Fort McMurray, Grand Prairie, Hinton, and Drayton Valley will still see a high health risk. So air quality still suffering in many areas of the province. What does that mean? Well, for today, it was very high. So the at-risk population, general population, reducing, rescheduling strenuous outdoor activities. For us tomorrow, moderate health risk. So the at-risk population, consider reducing or rescheduling, and no need for the general population. Let's take a look at tomorrow. High level heating up, 28 for a high. Lac La Biche, 25 and 25 in Whitecourt. A little bit cooler for Red Deer, a high of 22, and then getting into the mid and high 20s in southern areas of the province. For us here in Edmonton, we'll start off at 15 in the morning. We'll see a mix of sun and cloud as we go throughout the day. More sun into the afternoon and 24 for a high. Again, we'll still see a little bit of smoke, but a lot of clearing compared to where we were today as far as the air quality. We will see an improvement. 29 Wednesday, wind light, lots of sun. 30s for Thursday as well as Friday. And then Saturday, we'll need to keep an eye on it because there is a risk of thunderstorms later into the day. Once again, 25 for a high. So coming out of that heat, we could see some big storms. So we will keep an eye on that and see how that evolves the closer we get to it. Sunday, 25. And then for Monday, Tuesday, highs of 27 and 28. Late Tuesday, a risk of thunderstorms. And we could see some showers for Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures dropping below seasonal. Till then, again, we will see a little bit of an improvement for air quality tomorrow. Temperature getting to seasonal. And then after that, we see it climb once again into the high 20s and a pair of 30s for Thursday and Friday.
The provincial government is reminding people about the dangers of invasive fish with a picture of a giant goldfish. This goldfish was recovered from a stormwater pond in Okotoks. It's about 30 centimeters across, which is roughly the size of a dinner plate. The province says you should never release aquarium pets, water garden plants, live food, sport fish, or live bait. The newly renovated Horlac Park is once again hosting world-class athletes. This weekend, they tested their training at the World Triathlon Championship. CTV's Curtis Goodrum reports.
A 750-meter swim around Horlac Park, a 20-kilometer bike ride,
1.6 kilometers to go,
and a 5-kilometer run to declare the winner. A triathlon, a test of many participants' endurance and preparedness.
There's 6 races in one. There's a lot of mental preparation around how do you have your gear set up and how do you make sure that you transition between each of those 3 sports accordingly.
Jesse Meyer considers himself an amateur at the sport, but trains for months to be fit enough to compete.
Got to figure out how you're going to fit in some training for swimming and running and cycling, and also try to do a little bit of lifting or yoga on top of that. And for me, it's 5 a.m.
3-time Olympian Tyler Mislawchuk was fighting for Olympic points. The Canadian athlete got second in a tight finish.
That's this sport. It's seconds here and there, and anytime you're on the podium, it's pretty damn good. I would have liked to win at home, but I can't complain.
A lot of these triathletes here are national championships in running, cycling, or swimming on its own, and then they combine them all together, and they do 3 in a row.
Organizers say triathlons are often seen as a milestone achievement, but many who compete once tend to stay in the sport.
And then they come into the sport, and very often they're hooked. Once they try one and they try that multi-sport experience of combining swimming, biking, running together, then it just becomes a staple of their training and their life.
Maya says every triathlon he does is a family affair.
For my family, it's kind of a full circle moment. I've been competing in triathlons for a number of years now, and now my kids are part of TriChamps, a local triathlon organization.
Edmonton is set to host the World Triathlon Multisport Championships for the first time next year. Curtis Goodrum, CTV News, Edmonton.
Thanks for watching us tonight. For the latest news anytime, visit our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Thank you for spending your time here. Have a good night.